What is up, guys? It's Lucas da Silva back again. The room is a little bit more green around me than usual, and I would be lying if I didn't admit that this interview here is a super fun one for me, which we'll get to why later. But I am here with the head coach of Minion RTC and Minion Legends, and coach at Baylor up in Tennessee, Baylor University. That is Sean Russell. Sean, how are you doing today, bud?
Doing great, man. Doing great, Lucas. Thanks for having me on.
Of course. I think we first need to lay the groundwork for those that don't know. You've known me and my family since baby Lucas, like since 7 years old. Shout out Jeff Bedard.
Oh
So
yeah,
that's why I say this one's super fun for me because it's cool when I see the guys that like were the OGs and the big bros for me coming up when I was super young now in this new space. So it's really cool to see. And I'm always happy that the Russell family has stayed in majority control of Minion Legends.
for sure. Absolutely.
So why don't you take a second and because of that, because your family has been involved in Minions, I believe since the beginning, because I know since my start with Minions, for those that don't know, I bleed green. Minion was my first dual team and the team that I wrestled with the most in my career. What is that like for you now being the head coach of this Georgia stalwart in Minions?
Yeah. It's awesome, man. It's an incredible legacy, and my family has been involved with it, but it's not just my family. Obviously, there's been a lot of different families who've poured their blood, sweat, and tears into that Minion brand. A lot of driven
Shout out Pete
parents.
Station, them and the
Shout
guys
out
that
Pete
don't know the
Station.
old school.
Yeah, Mike Gianfala. Yeah, man. I mean, shout out Tom Mitchell. Shout out to those
Oh
original
yeah.
guys who kind of paved the road on us traveling and getting kids to national tournaments and realizing that that's the best way to get good is to wrestle the best. And even though Tom maybe wasn't necessarily um, in with Minion, he definitely laid the groundwork for what Minion was. And that when I was little in 6 and 7, we were following Tom and TJ Mitchell, and that they were traveling around and going to a lot of national tournaments. We started following their path, and then I think that's kind of what Minion turned into was just like these driven dads putting their driven kids in a car and traveling around to these national tournaments, and then it turned into a dual thing where it was like, hey, instead of going to these individual tournaments where we're getting 2 or 3 really tough matches, we could go to the VAC or to Toledo Middle School Duels and get 8 matches, and 5 of them or 6 of them are super tough. And yeah, so I think it's got a great history. I think it's a big backbone in what has made Georgia wrestling more successful over the past 10, 12 years. That kind of minion crew of like Caleb Henson, Matthew Singleton, Killick, Chase Horn, Noah Pettigrew, all those guys, right? Yourself on those Minion teams growing up and traveling. And because there was such a good personnel group, we were getting, not we, I wasn't really involved at that time, but Minion was getting into the gold pool with a lot of Georgia guys, and you're getting those gold pool matches. And I think that kind of catapulted that crew into what they've done at the college level
Yeah.
so far. So yeah, it's a great brand. It's a great opportunity to be able to lead it. There's obviously a lot of responsibility that comes with it, and I feel that. And yeah, I'm glad that I get to have that responsibility.
Yeah, you weren't as involved because you were just too busy making Super 32 finals and doing all those things. You were a little busy, but
A little
it's
bit.
funny because you talked about the brand itself, and I'll tell you it's super unique for me to see because I remember and kids my group can attest to this. There was a certain honor when you got that minion call. And for me, it was Pete Station that made the call out to my dad to go to Kingsport that first year and getting to wear the green and black. There's a certain aura about it, especially then. And, this is where we get into the conversation of as now the stewardship has changed, you're at the helm. There's been a couple of, I don't necessarily want to say down years, but when it comes to dual competition, a couple of years where you haven't had due to injury, due to kids being on other teams the past couple years, Roundtree having their own team did not help matters because that now you're splitting Georgia's talent pool. This year, no Roundtree, so you get the Mills back into the mix. Obviously, talk about bringing back, I guess would be the word I want to use, that aura and allure to Minion and what that's been like. Because, I look at this team top to bottom, and it looks to me one of the best Minion teams in the past years. It's a great roster you've put together from top to bottom.
Yeah, yeah, I appreciate that, man. I would say Elite Eight depth specifically. The last couple years, we maybe haven't had our best tournament. Last year, we had a good tournament. We were in a tough pool and we lost two matches on pool day, which didn't put us in the bracket. We lost to Thunder by like 2 points, and maybe it was Marsteller by 3 or 4. And Team Thunder ended up in the finals, or maybe it was Marsteller that ended up in the finals. So we didn't on paper do well last year, but we were there. We were centimeters away from having a good tournament. But yeah, I agree. Last couple years, kind of been not our best Elite Eight duels. And yeah, I can't really speak on the reason for that. I think the event is incredibly competitive. I think there's a ton of ranked guys. I think our guys have got to step up. We've got to have more wins out of our club guys that we put on that team. But yeah, I agree. I think Roundtree and Minion splitting up a lot of the good Southern kids, it definitely hurts us to a degree. And I mean, that doesn't mean anything. I think it's awesome that Roundtree has a team in the event. I don't think that's a
Well,
super negative
absolutely.
thing. Yeah, I just think it definitely has hurt us a little bit. Like, obviously losing the Mills to those guys and losing, as far as just having like that Minion Georgia All Star team, it does kind of separate us out a little bit, and maybe that plays a small role. But outside of Elite Eight, we've never missed the gold pool in Toledo or VAC. Since I've taken it over, we're always in the gold pool, still there, which is the goal. And the way that I do these teams is I put as many club kids or Southern kids as I can on it that deserve to go. Deserve to go means you're living the lifestyle. We all know what that means. And just because you're a Georgia kid, that doesn't mean, or a Tennessee kid, that doesn't mean that there's loyalty for you to be on that team. You've got to earn it. If my own little brother, Dallas, didn't deserve to be on that team, he would not be on that team. And I would tell him that. And I think, and that you speak back to like the aura of Minion, and kind of the legacy that it has, and that is the legacy. You got to earn to be on that team. Caleb Henson, Noah Pettigrew, Chase Horn, Matty Singleton, those guys earned being on that team. They weren't just letting every Georgia guy be on that team. And I think that's a misconception. Sometimes it's like, oh, these guys don't even look out for the Georgia guys. It's like, no, we do. We look out for the guys who deserve to go, right? The guys who are working out twice a day, the guys who are, wrestling 10, 11 months out of the year, the guys who have a commitment level of trying to wrestle after high school. Those are the guys we look out for. We can't put every single guy on the team, obviously, and you got to deserve to go. And speaking to kind of like what you're talking about, kind of having some down years, is that, yeah, we need the guys that deserve to go. And then around those guys, we got to put guys there good enough where we can win the event, or at least get in the bracket or make the finals and get our Southern guys the best possible matches. And that's how Minion has been being ran for a long, long, long time. Like, all the guys I just named, those Minion teams that were going on for 8-9 years with the Hensons and the Singletons and that crew, they had guys from outside of that core group of 6-7 kids. They had guys from all over the country because that's the only way they could get in the gold pool. You can't make an all Georgia team and go to the gold pool. It's very, very hard. And then you're doing a disservice to your best guys. And you know what? The other guys in the club, once they deserve to go, they'll be on that team. And I think it's a good parameter for them to be like, hey, I want to be on the Minion Legends. I need to work harder. I need to get in the gym more. I need to do more privates. I need to, not play baseball in the off season. I need to keep wrestling, so that I can be on
Agreed.
that team. So yeah, I would say, on other levels, I think, we're still doing a really good job, and have still been consistently, in that gold pool. Elite Eight, we've had a couple down years, but I think this year we're going to bounce back.
I don't disagree at all. I think that was very well put, but you did mention something that I wanted to touch on anyways. This team, if I'm not mistaken, has the most number one ranked kids of any roster this year. Of course, 113 pounds, Ariah Mills, 126 pounds, Antonio Mills. But I gotta ask, 157 pounds, it's your little brother. It's the honey
Yeah,
badger. It's
the
honey
honey.
badger, as I remember.
Yeah,
Like
Yep.
a lot of people don't even know that form of Dallas. So it's cool to see for me. I gotta know, what is it for you as big bro? Not only seeing your little brother on the team you're coaching, because he's earned that spot, but see him ranked number one in the country at his weight class. That has to feel special in some way to you.
Oh man, incredibly special. So proud of him, and nothing like that comes easy. He gave up his senior year of football. It was really hard for him. He was a, team captain, team leader on that team. They made it to the state championship last year and they didn't win. And, it was a really hard decision for him, but he was like, man, I think I can be a national champ. And I think this is what I need to do with my life in order to achieve that. And that was all his decision to kind of let football go this year and in the off season, just completely focus on wrestling. And leading up to Fargo, I felt like he made some huge jumps and just being able to solely focus on that. Um, and to give Dallas credit, he competes really well. He knows how to win matches. He's a tough kid, and he makes adjustments. So man, I'm incredibly proud of him. Our family's very proud of him. And yeah, I can't even really put words to it. I just want to be able to keep helping him, and hopefully, he can be a lot better than me at the next level. And yeah, man. But it's been great for our family. Dallas. He's been super excited about that, and he earned that, and I very proud of him for what he put in to get that. And yeah, I mean, job's not done. It's one thing. And, once you get something like that, it's cool for a little bit. And then it's like, all right, what's the next thing? Let's go achieve it. So he's still in the gym. He's not satisfied. Right. And neither are we. But no, it's definitely been really special. And our family's really proud. So yeah.
For sure. And it's cool to see. And I think a lot of us older Georgia guys that know it's so cool for me because, like, I'm looking down your roster. Hudson Chittum, I wrestled with higher calling. Ariah Mills, JoJo, Antonio, and Clark, I've seen come up from being little ones. Obviously, Dallas, Harrison Murr, are so many kids that a lot of us have seen mature into this high school age. It's so cool to see. But
Yeah, for sure.
it's Elite Eight. It's, in my opinion, the premier dual event in the land. And a lot of teams, they are your stalwarts. You're gonna run into Dynasty. You're gonna see Carnage. You're gonna see Thunder. You're gonna see the Black Mambas. Is there any team that for you specifically, either for one reason or another, when you see that that's the matchup, you enjoy it? It's a fun duel, even if it's a little chippy from time to time. Is there that team for you that there's that fun, friendly rivalry with?
Yeah, definitely. I would say this year Dynasty for sure. I think like going back to Toledo middle school duels back. I mean, Minion and Dynasty have had some great duels in the past. They get real intense. A lot of excited parents on both sides. Yeah, and it's respect, but it's also a little bit of disrespect too, right? Like both teams want to kick the other team's butt, and yeah, I love the hostility of that duel, and I love the opportunity of getting to beat those guys. And yeah, I would say this year Dynasty, and I would say in years past, that duel with Roundtree is always good, and it feels like both sides kind of step it up a little bit and get excited for it. So I would say Dynasty this year for sure.
That makes sense. All right. One kid on your team that, you have a lot of guys with national rankings by their name, guys that are probably getting calls from the highest of major D1 institutions. Is there a guy on your team that maybe they're not as ranked, maybe they're not as well known, but you think coming out of Elite Eight, they're gonna be that national type of commodity where they will have won themselves some scholarship money and some scholarship opportunities out of Elite Eight?
Yeah, I'm gonna go Titus Norman. I'm gonna go the good old Baylor guy
Okay.
right here at home. Dude's been working his butt off. He's uncommitted right now, and guy competes really hard. He's super stingy on defense. And yeah, I think that he's going to turn some heads, and I think he's going to earn him a really good scholarship here this weekend, next weekend.
I could not agree more. Titus is a kid that, how he's not nationally ranked, I kind of feel like a little bit of a robbery to a certain extent, but that's neither here nor there. But
Yeah.
all right, Sean, any last parting shots you got for the fans at home?
No, man, I think I'm good. I appreciate your coverage, and yeah, man, Elite Eight's going to be a blast. Make sure you tune in.
Of course, I will be there next week. You should be too. Cliff has been bugging me about this. Ticket's still on sale. That we're basically going to try to get the fire marshal to close us down this year, like they almost did a couple years ago. Sean, thank you for taking your time with us, and yeah, I'll see you at the event.
Yep, no problem, homie. See you soon.